Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to today's Nadex morning analysis. My name is Todd Rich. I'm with Nadex. I do have my uh, a partner of ours from Keep Trading Simple, Mr. Brian Caprice. Before we get into today's session, I do have to put up this disclaimer. You're probably familiar with this, is that trading does involve risk and that any trading you do is solely at your own responsibility. I would like to point out this is educational in nature. And please don't take anything that either Brian or myself say today as a buy or sell recommendation. Uh, with that, I let's just talk a little bit. Hey, Brian,
How are you doing?
uh, let's talk a little bit about what was going on overnight, and let's take a peek at a couple of potential
Sure.
trade setups that we might want to look at today.
Yeah. So yesterday was one of those days where we had multiple different world leaders, our world kind of chief bank presidents speaking. So it's always kind of a strange day. The market is looking for kind of some type of certainty. What's going to happen? What are people forward thinking? And that was at 11:45 yesterday. So for the most part, if you looked at the indices on any of the larger time frames, you can see that they were pretty much just sideways. Like I said, where are we going? What's happening next? If you look at what the big buzz is in the news right now, it's what's going to happen with coronavirus. What countries are locking back down again? We heard about the potential vaccine, but then we haven't heard much. And I know at least in my state and a few other states in the United States, everybody's talking about lockdown and what does that really mean for the economy. As far as economic news goes, it was really kind of split. If you look into yesterday, you can see that some of the inflation numbers were split. This morning's numbers with PPI, again, they were split numbers, which again really don't give the market any type of true direction. If it's all positive or all negative, you tend to see that off the open, but we don't really see that today. So one of the things that I'm looking at today is actually in the Dow. If you want to switch over to that chart for me real fast.
Yeah, let's definitely bring up your Dow chart. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh, I lost your sound.
Oh, is it still
There
there or
we go.
no?
We got you back. Okay,
Sorry,
cool.
yeah. My trading partner just came into the room, and I think she pulled the cord there for a second on me. So anyway, in the Dow, I'm gonna go up one little time frame here, real quick. So one of the things that we mentioned yesterday, or actually previously in the past, is we had this gigantic spike due to the election, right?
Right.
So very, very large emotional spike. We talked about the retracement, and that came in as planned. So now, if we're using that range as kind of where the Dow can move for the day, this box on the right, you guys have heard me call it the curve, right? The curve is really just a way to look at this and say, hey, listen, things typically revert back to the mean, regardless of what we're talking about. But trading in particular, you have an emotional spike, there tends to be a rubber banding effect. And what that does is it gives us an area up top where, hey, listen, we're a little bit more bearish biased. On the bottom, we're a little bit more bullish biased. The middle is kind of like no man's land where there's not really a true bias one way or the other. But there is a level in here, and I'll mark it off real fast. You can see that we had some basing right in this area. And you can see that previously we've had sellers step in, and again, this morning, early on, we hit that level again and have started to push away. Now, let me delete this real quick and drop it down to a lower time frame. As you can see the true level of basing right here, right? This drop base and then a strong push out. And again, seller stepped in. And we have managed to push higher, but we are still kind of in that basing level. And it's coming up to, again, one of the things that I like about this is it's the fact that it's a 00 number. It's a round number. But again, we have a decent level right there. As far as, if price pushes back up again, I do like where we could set our, in my opinion, will be an okay level of risk. And when I look at my profit targets, they're actually in places that are pretty nice. The 1 to 3 is good. The 1 to 5 may be a little bit far. But I like that it's a round number. I like that in the overnight it's kind of pushed down. If we can get any type of positive kind of, just a little bit of a pip, just a little bit higher, it could be a pretty interesting entry. And again, driving us back into what I'd called before that level of the curve, going from medium, which is not the best, but driving it back into this lower region where we could have potential bounces off 28,932 or even maybe 28,731.
No, that's actually great. Looking for, we'll see what happens in 25 minutes when the cash markets open. But yeah, if there's some support, there might be an opportunity to look at a Dow rollover. In fact, let's take a look. I'm going to jump over to the Nadex platform real quickly, and we're going to do a little bit of show and tell. Sorry about that. I was starting to choke.
Mhm.
Let's let's take a look. Let's get this out of the way. We can definitely see that the Dow has been in, since the election, has been in a bit of a downtrend. I'm going to go ahead and put some Fibonacci on here, just and so people can follow along. I'm choosing Fibonacci on the Nadex platform. And if you're seeing a downtrend, you start in the upper left-hand corner, 1, down to the bottom of the trend, 2, and then you could drag it over, see some levels, 3. So there are definitely, and I do agree with you that 29,300, that it tends to be very psychological. You can see that right here on our chart. And yeah, there's some call spreads in here. That could be compelling. And I'm moving the chart, and I didn't want to move the chart. There we go. There are some call spreads in there that could be compelling if someone was looking for an opportunity, and we are seeing, on the, now that I messed up the Fibonacci, let's put that back in. I'm going to,
Yeah, and this is one of those levels on a Friday. It's always an interesting day. As my students like to call it, Feel Good Friday. The markets tend
right.
to like going into the weekend on a little bit of a positive note, even if we are negative on the weekend, to kind of just reset traders in general. So it may end up, if it does from now continue to push down, like I said, that 28,932 could be a level late in the afternoon to be able to take a bounce of if we can't get entry this morning.
Yeah, definitely something to be looking at. We're definitely seeing some interesting levels, and even on the Fibonacci's, yeah, that's kind of lining up with some of those retracement levels that are actually kind of working here in the Dow for some folks. So
Yep.
yeah, that's one great thing to look at. And the Dow has definitely been something that's been a bit volatile since the election.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good one. I think people could take a look at that. Let's go ahead and jump over.
I have one more. I
What's
have
something
one
else we
for
could
oil
go
as
ahead
well.
and take a peek at? Let me put your chart up there. There we go.
Yep. So yesterday we talked about oil inventory, and let me actually drag one window in real quick. You can see here was oil inventory from yesterday. I mentioned that there was a very big miss last time on November 4th. And if you look at this and if you follow this, you can typically say, look at these and say, hey, listen, through the entire year, when we have a huge miss, like last time on November 4th, they were supposed to come in about flat at 0.3 million barrels. Huge miss, -8. That's a gigantic miss. They tend to not have two very big misses in a row in the same direction. Okay. Yesterday's number came in, and again, at 11 a.m. Eastern time, there was a projection of -2 million barrels. It came in at a surplus of 4.3. Now, if you remember yesterday's session, I mentioned that one of the things that we got to worry about and what the market can't prepare for right now is the fact that, again, demand, right? Demand is the story that drives oil. With people closing down, people being told that they should work from home again, these are all very bad signs for oil. And again, right here, as I mentioned yesterday, the goal of this is to find a small level of basing with strong push right around when news is being released. Now, yesterday we were talking and we're sitting right about this level right here. But again, what I said was watch for this and look for a level, potentially go into the 2-hour binaries right around news time. News time was right here. You can see we had that level of basing and we had a 70-cent drop. And for those of you that trade oil, again, I kind of give you guys a little bit of hint, check the 2-hour binaries. The 2-hour binary strike difference or strike width is 20 cents.
20
so this
cents.
was 3.5 strike prices in less than an hour. Okay.
Yep.
Now we have to think about what do we do today? With the big push back down again, we're now hitting a level where we've seen buyers, we had some basing. Buyers have stepped in and they're starting to push higher. Now, again, this could be also a feel-good Friday type situation. Now, you're seeing a lot of movement in the last, 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes right now. This could be a level, again, that provides a little bit of stability for us. It's not a huge level. That's the one that comes in here much lower at 39. But again, I think this is a level where, again, we've had it. We've stepped in again. This is an area right here around 40.20 that I think buyers are going to be kind of watching out for. But if we do have a break, again, I would be looking for targets. If this level does break, look for targets later today with 39.50. And again, that's not how the oil bulls would love to end Friday. But again, it is a potential
right.
scenario.
Let's take a quick peek over at the Nadex platform to see exactly what you were just talking about. And indeed, here, let me get this out of the way. We have seen, you were right. Oil is that is a supply and demand. When people thought we were out of the woods with the coronavirus with the COVID. There was definitely a spike up in oil, but as the news started leaching out that it's not going to happen overnight, you've seen that oil did roll over, and we are seeing it. That support level is exactly what you're talking about, that 40 and a quarter level. And if someone were looking at different binary options, there are some levels in here that could become kind of interesting throughout the day as we wrap up the week in oil.
Yeah, like I said, Feel Good Friday is a real thing, but oil tends to be one of those ones that kind of ends a little bit early on Friday. So just be a bit cautious about that.
So definitely something to be paying attention to. I would. I think I just lost you for a second again. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know why that happens.
Technical difficulties on Fridays.
You know what it is? I know exactly what it is. It's that Friday the 13th thing.
Yeah,
it's coming.
It is. I didn't mention that, but I should have brought that up. Friday the 13th. Yeah, I don't think it's a full moon tonight, thankfully. I don't think we can handle that one. 2 times.
So certainly something that we need to be aware of. That you know what? Every time I seem to share this screen, does it take you out? Are you back again?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you have any questions, I want to make sure that you're definitely seeing what I'd like you to see, and how you can contact. That's odd.
I see the disclaimer on my screen, but if anybody needs
the disclaimer
me,
too, and I don't want the disclaimer. I want the other. I know why. There we go. Here we go. That's what I was looking for.
That's it.
If you like to reach out to Nadex, reach out to us at customer service at nadex.com. Follow us on social media. And again, Brian, a great business partner of ours. If you have any questions for Brian, please reach out to him at support@keeptradingsimple.com. With that, would like to thank everyone for joining us. We will be doing this every morning at the same time. We look forward to having you back on Monday. Good luck in the markets, everyone.
Take care.